My name is Peter or Piotr, or I can try Živio moje ime je Piotr, and I will end with Slovenian there because I'm horrible at this. The only thing I remember is from the buses that I travel usually, so I can say Vižamo se po stajališću, and this is the only thing that I remember from Slovenia, and that sucks. But I'm not here to talk about my linguistic skills. I'm going to talk about pitching, success, and startups. In 2006, I was fired from my job, and my friends called me and said, "Why don't you join us and at the startup weekend?" And the only thing I understood from that sentence was weekend. But then I decided, why not? And I asked them, what should I do? And they told me, you will pitch. At that time, I didn't know what pitching was, but they said, you should present our project. And I did. And we won, because I presented well. But then we failed, because the idea was not so good. So there you have it. It's not only the pitch to be successful. You have to have a very good idea behind it. Because if you just have the very good person pitching, you may win. You may even win over the investors, but then you will fail eventually when you meet the market. So when we think about success, we think about successful people like Zuckerberg, who dropped out of Harvard. Then we think about Bill Gates, who dropped out of Harvard, or Steve Jobs, who dropped out of another college, not Harvard. So the conclusion for many is to drop out of some college in order to be successful. So the kind of a path to success should be to drop out of Stanford. And that was precisely behind one of the biggest scams and the best pitches in history. That was Elizabeth Holmes for Theranos. She actually dropped out of Stanford and she decided to wear black turtlenecks and copied everything that Steve Jobs did, and she had a great pitch based on the idea that there is a big contrast between the hell people live in and the promised land they want to live in. So comparing those two realities was great. The only problem was that it was not doable. But in Silicon Valley, everybody thinks, okay, if someone tells you can't do something, this is precisely what you should do. And I say, every now and then you should listen to people who say that you can't do it, because probably you can't do it. Be reasonable about it, especially if you're thinking about taking a path to success and dropping out of college to do that. Because as Fortune 500 top managers and CEOs, 98% of them graduated from at least one university, and 50% of those have at least an MBA to add to that list. So if you really want to be successful in the Fortune 500, probably the best lesson is to stay in college, not to drop out of college. But this is something that startups usually look up to, is successful people. And then we tend to become victims of something that is called survivorship bias. Survivorship bias is when we take the data that supports our idea and we only look at the success, totally neglecting all the data that don't fit into our product, arguments, or whatever else. So as startups, we sometimes go to all those conferences, we look at those successful people who are successful indeed, and we listen to the advice like it's the best advice in the world, and then we forget that these are the advice from the people who survived. We don't have the advice from the people who did not survive. A prime example of the survivorship bias is something that has something to do with dolphins. I don't know if you're familiar with dolphins, but dolphins are great mammals, right? And most people think that they're very intelligent, and that's the truth. But also some people think that dolphins are extremely friendly when it comes to people who are in the middle of the ocean. So there are histories of people who actually recall how dolphins saved their life when they were in the middle of the ocean. So they dragged them to some sort of deserted island and then saved their lives. But what we forget and what we neglect is the number of people who actually were in the middle of the ocean and no dolphin helped them. Because they died. We don't have any recollection of that. And this is precisely what I want you to remember. Startups and only, like, we have to stop making the decision based on the survivorship bias. Survivorship bias is taking into account all the things that support our ideas based on the data that is easy to access. So As one of my friends once said, don't take advice from anyone who is extremely, extremely successful and probably forgot how they became successful. Because when people are successful, they tend to say things like, oh, this is how it happened, this is how it happened, this is what I did, this is the best thing to do. But because they are successful, they usually tend to also appropriate the success to their own deeds. If someone fails, it's usually the external conditions that cause the failure. And we tend to forget that sometimes timing is everything when it comes to startups, and good decisions in the right time. So one of my friends who actually, I helped him to pitch for Richard Branson, and he actually won. But then after the whole program, he said, don't take advice from Richard Branson. He forgot how it is to be unsuccessful. He only lives there, and it's okay to live there. So this is one of the things. And I always tell the startups, and this is a great lesson I hope for all of you, validating ideas is really great. But every now and then, you have to turn on the mode and invalidate your ideas. Sort of like think why it will not work, why people will not buy from us, why market is not ready for this. And this is a very important advice that I should give everyone. Because we as humans, in our brains, we have this amazing array of different biases, and one of them is confirmation bias, where we actually look for the arguments that support our assumptions. This is so easy, and we then neglect all the others that don't support our argument. And then there's cherry picking. Like, we look at the data, even from the very, very strategic chess-like point of view, and then we only pick the data that fit our profile. And that is fine. I mean, if I wanted to convince investors, I would also cherry pick the data that supports the good return on investment. I would hide all the others. But at the end of the day, it's all about being honest. And it's all about being optimistic, but also not being the victim of something that is called optimism bias. Optimism bias is that we tend to make more risky decisions when we're in a good mood and very optimistic. And that is fine. But also think about how many times optimism bias have influenced our decisions. What makes a startup tip actually? I mean, not listening to Richard Branson's idea might be good. Like, don't do that. Also taking into the account only the scientifically proven things. And one of those is grit. If you are gritty, that means that you're not stubborn. You are actually iterating everything, including business model, making good decision based on new version of your old product and everything else. The people who follow the advice of winners never quit, quitters never lose, actually lose very often. Because yes, there is a time when you need to quit and look for a new approach. Not quitting at all is not a very good advice. I mean, you have to be wise in that. There are two types of mindset when it comes to people. One is scout mindset, and that is a preferable one. Because a scout mindset is someone who is looking for the truth, the reality as it is. Then there is a soldier mindset, and a soldier mindset is a person who is always trying to defend their belief. And that works fine when we're in the state of war, but in peace, it doesn't work very well. Because a scout's job is to actually find out how the market really looks like. You cannot believe that there is a market for it. You have to have the market for it. Just like in the time, like if you send a scout to ask him, is there a bridge over the river? He has to come with the right answer. There is or there isn't. He cannot believe that there is, because then the whole army will come marching, and then he will say, oh, I'm sorry, I really believed. I tried to, visualize the bridge, but it wasn't there. No, you have to be honest. And you have to be honest when sometimes you have to also learn to say no. And by saying no, I say no to a lot of conferences. I know, I mean, every now and then go to a conference as a startup or as a person, but then every time you say yes to a conference, you have to say no to something else. And sometimes, unfortunately, that means saying no to your product and your development process. And I know it's fun. One of the reasons why startup failed is that when we actually won the startup weekend, we got invited to a lot of TV shows. And that was so pleasant. I mean, there is nothing more pleasant for your ego than going to every TV show in the morning and like talking about yourself, talking about your product. But yeah, I mean, it's nicer than actually doing and developing the product, which sucks, or actually chasing the clients, the customers. So learn to say no to conferences, learn to say no to some partnerships also. And I know it sounds weird. I mean, well, when there are partners, we should benefit from that. But if your partner is really weak and you are still in the development process, then weak plus weak doesn't mean very strong. It only means weaker. So, don't waste time on that. And pay attention to what you pay attention and spend your time well. And by spending your time well, I don't mean partying. I mean dedicate time to things that matter. And I'm very happy about the change of the formula of the program, that you were all about customer and the product market fit. Because at the end of the day, customer is what matters. You can have an extremely successful product, but without customers, it will not survive. And I've learned it myself the hard way, and you have to do it. But also you have to learn how to communicate the idea. A great pitch will not save a bad idea, but a bad pitch will bury a very decent idea. So I'm not saying that communication is everything, but sometimes communication can convince even those that were not supposed to be very much convinced. A bad pitch will bury a decent idea. 85% of your success, after all, depends on communication skills. And by that, I don't mean just pitching, but I mean sales, partnerships, and stuff like that. So what makes startup successful? Bill Gross made a research, and he said timing is everything. So in the right time, you have to go to the market. Are you familiar with this startup called Z.com? Well, no one is, no surprise, because they started and they did exactly the same thing as YouTube did, but 5 years too early. Why was it too early? Because the internet was not ready for that. So if you had to wait to watch the video that was 5 minutes long and you had to wait 30 minutes to buffer the video, people wouldn't do it. And then the time was right after 5 years to do YouTube. Timing is right. Idea, yes, very important. And you have to be like the purple cow. The purple cow is different than normal cows. Why? Because it's purple. And it's a Seth Godin, we all live in this, it's a Seth Godin concept. We all live in the world of ideas, and people pay attention to something that is extremely different to what they knew. And that works for startups. You don't have to have the marketing budget of Coca-Cola, Unilever. You just have to show and prove the world that you are the purple cow in the industry. All those great brands, they're afraid to be the purple cow. Don't be afraid to be the purple cow. Team, very important, especially if you have a good salesperson on the team and if you have someone to do that. And then business model, but you can change it. And then the least important, as according to Bill Gross research, is financing. Of course, I'm very happy for all the startups that already secured their investment. That's very important for you guys. But there were so many over-financed startups that still failed because the idea, the team, and the timing was not right. So, thank you very much for this. That's not my presentation anymore, so I just forward it. Thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure. And I can tell you that all over Europe, startups are booming. It's been a great pleasure to be coming to this particular accelerator over and over again and getting to know all those amazing startups. Congratulations to you. Thank you.